friends and loved ones. Welcome to the Say It Loud podcast. I'm your host, Matt Jones. We had a great show this week with Nichole Wagner. She's an Americana artist living in Austin, and she just released her new album this year, full-length album called And the Sky Caught Fire. It's a very honest record. She writes about relationships, and she doesn't really hold back. Her honesty carried over into the podcast where she talked about, making baked goods to get attention. She talked about her first open mic disaster, and the most important part of that story was that she bounced back and became the songwriter she wanted to become. She loves baseball, she loves Stevie Nicks, she's a total numbers and analytics nerd, and she taught us a lot about laundry detergent. You're going to learn some stuff today, guys. Be sure to check Nichole out at NicholeWagnerMusic.com. Listen to her album, And the Sky Caught Fire, on Spotify. She has it on her website. It's on her YouTube channel. And for the Fair City Fire guys, they'll be playing November 3rd at Saxon Pub. Get your tickets now. We appreciate you listening. Thank you very much, and enjoy.
Check.
All right, Nichole.
Howdy.
That'll work. Our wonderful guest this week to the Say It Loud podcast is Nichole Wagner. Woo! Yeah. Elephant in the room. I'm sure you get asked this all the time. Are you related to the 19th century composer Richard Wagner?
Possibly.
Right of the Valkyries. Remember
I'm
that?
not related to Johann Wagner, the other songwriter here in Austin, Texas. Though.
Oh.
How about Billy Wagner, former closer of the New York Mets?
Sadly, no. Although I feel you, man.
Yeah, and we will bring up baseball later.
Good.
We should.
I felt like that might be happening. I wanted to.
Yeah.
It's hard to avoid.
Yeah, it's hard to avoid.
It's postseason, man. I mean.
Are you a fan?
Huge fan.
I know you wrote a song, like super metaphor, love song with baseball, but you're also a fan of the Diamond.
That's why I have this Apple Watch, is so that I can get constant updates.
Who are you following?
Well, right now the Cubs and the Astros and the Red Sox. Although the Red Sox clinched, so.
Okay, so all the best teams. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Things are going really well. So
I thought for a second you're a Mets fan the way you said that back to Brian. Like, I feel you, man. And I was thinking, holy shit.
No, but anytime you can be
baseball.
related to a great player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I claim it anyway?
I think so.
No one's
I'll
here to
let it
stop
slide,
you.
yeah.
We've got Brett here,
Hello.
Brian,
Hey.
and Joe.
Hey.
And Clint's not here, and he definitely won't be here. So
His
don't
segment.
get excited about that.
Wink, wink.
And I'm Matt, and thanks again, Nichole, for coming in. So it's been a big year for you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Cubs are killing it. The Red Sox are killing it. I mean, what else could you need?
The Astros are killing it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I did a couple things.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But those are non-consequential
yeah,
in comparison to the World Series.
I think all we're trying to do is win the World Series here. I think that's it. Yeah.
I just want Cubs Red Sox. I think that's all I want this
That'd
year.
be great. I would love that.
And the Sky Caught Fire.
Yes.
That's a big deal for you this year. Full
It
length.
is.
Is that your first full length, right?
It is my first full length.
So it's very exciting. The few things I want to talk about today. Number one is, well, in terms of the album, like, I think are you the relationship expert in terms of songwriting now? I mean, in terms of writing about them.
No, I
So
think
I don't
Stevie
understand
Nicks
that.
still has the corner
Stevie-
on that
oh my
market.
God. Can you read this question I have written down here?
How much are you into Stevie Nicks?
Yeah.
A lot. Somebody asked me earlier today
That's
if I had
awesome.
a Stevie Nicks outfit, and I was like, which decade?
That's awesome.
Yes.
Is that
So,
your
yes.
everything for music inspiration?
Strangely not.
Yeah.
Actually, I love Fleetwood Mac. I love Stevie Nicks. But I draw from a lot of different places. But in terms of writing not so veiled songs about people, sometimes maybe.
Yeah, no, there's no veil, I don't think, when
No.
you listen to your song. Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, in terms of, like, you don't reveal identities or you don't, like, necessarily
but
finger point.
I feel like if I wrote a song about you, you would probably know it.
Yeah.
If you heard that song.
'Cause it is-
Sorry.
Yeah, and so it's, Americana folk style music. When you listen to it, it makes you want to listen to it again. That's what I was feeling today when I was going through it, and it was like, I wanted to hear these lyrics again because I was like, these are feelings that I've had, but it's like, you're not focusing on, like, the beginning necessarily, like, of the love or, like, necessarily the breakup point, but it's like the minutia of being in this relationship and acknowledging the feelings that you do have. For you, why is it important to express yourself about like the inner workings of a relationship?
I think that's just what it's real to me, and I'd rather write about things that are kind of relatable versus like a big story tale, amazing, everything's wonderful, because a lot of times that's not the case. But a lot of times things can be good and bad in the same little segment of time. I think probably one of the most damning breakup songs on the record I wrote in the middle of a relationship that was actually going fairly well. But if you listen to just that song, you'd be like, oh, wow. Do you need help, dear?
Which song are you talking about?
The Last Time.
The Last Time, yes. Actually,
it's a
Brett and I were
really dark
talking about
song.
that. Well, this was one of our, it was funny too, because Brett and I were talking about it. He's like, I remember this one lyric, and he was starting to tell it to me, and I had written it too. A lot of serendipity happening here. But it was the being with you, it's like being with strangers, but it's better than being alone, into some big music finale. And that was like, whoa, that is as honest as you can be, I think, in terms of your feelings about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the beauty of not disclosing identities.
Yeah. But in terms of being dark, I mean, I would see you kind of more as, like an optimist about it in a way, because you seem to like you seem to have insights about it for whatever reason about the relationships that you're in. And but do you act on those insights, do you think?
I don't know that I'm the best person to ask that question of.
Well, when you're writing these songs, are they with intent, or is it just the way you're feeling?
It's a lot of times like the way I was feeling, or it's weird. You write a song, you can say all these different things to somebody, but then like in the moment, all the words kind of fly away, and you're just like, I want to say all these things. And sometimes maybe you don't, or you think you say them. There's that song Let Me Know where I thought I was being really clear with somebody about what I was feeling, and then it turns out that they had no idea.
Typical dudes.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many times do you like think about a conversation earlier in the day or something and been like, oh, I wish I had said this,
Every
cool.
single day.
Yeah,
Right?
you replay it.
But it's cool because with songwriting, you can still say it.
Yeah, and then
Which
you can
is
edit
awesome.
it. And
Yeah.
even after you record it, you can be like, I don't like that line.
Yeah.
I'm going to change it now.
You can almost satisfy yourself by replaying it in your head in the shower and being like, you should have did this. And it's like, okay, do it. And then you say it, and you're like, no, you get out of here. And it's like, yeah, sweet. That was awesome. I'm glad I did
Shower
that.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
All those emotions you have, right, Matt?
Hey, I have them in the shower.
If you cry in the shower, nobody
Every
knows.
single emotion. Every single one. I only have it in the shower.
Just a rainbow of emotions.
Yeah, this album, it was it made me consider my past a little bit in a way,
Good.
but more on like empathizing with you and sympathizing with you, and like more feeling like your side of it. And because I think in a way, like I do that, it's easy to like get into the small things of a relationship and to consider every single thing, and every day you're evaluating what's happening and what's going on. It takes a little something to get you to write about it. And this was one of the things you said, or I don't know who wrote your bio you're about. It was well written, but for this album, you said, this time around I felt a lot more comfortable and had much better understanding of how to explain some of the things that I wanted to express musically. Was there something that clicked with you? Was it like I just got to be honest, or was it just like I have to get these feelings out? What clicked for you to feel that way for this record?
I actually think that was probably more geared towards like being actually able to communicate musical ideas to a band.
Okay.
When I made the EP, it's like my first little go round. I've only been playing out for a couple years. So learning the vocabulary of like, I want it to build this way, or I think that this should happen with this drum part, and to know the parts of the drum, even to kind of say, no, I want the snare here, or those types of conversations more so than anything else.
Yeah, and you work with session musicians on the album. And we haven't actually talked about that too much on the podcast, I don't think. Like, how do you arrange that? I mean, what goes through your mind when you want to find people? Is it just getting your vision out?
For this record specifically, I owe a great deal of gratitude to Justin Douglas for putting together the band. He picked Chris Hausler and Grant Himmler to come and be the rhythm section, and then through a series of conversations, we came to Will Sexton as the guitar player, and the three of them just made everything happen really organically. And then Jan Fleming came in and played keys. Justin laid some guitars down as well, but it was very in the moment. Having Justin's guidance there to help translate the last little bits was super.
So do you go to Justin with like, hey, here's X amount of song ideas, or I have these lyrics, or I have these sounds? I mean, do you have in your mind a complete picture of a song?
Yeah. I had like guitar demos that we recorded. So it was like, these are the 10 songs that are available for this record that I think are worth keeping. Here's a couple ideas for covers. Let's see if there's anything we don't like about this batch. If there is, we'll kind of go back to the drawing board, but here's, I think, what these songs are going to be. And then he sent those out to the band and kind of helped pick the people that would be the right people for the project.
I mean, I guess, how do you get with strangers, essentially, and communicate like the way you're feeling in these songs to elicit the musicality that you want to come out?
Magic.
Is it? Yeah.
And
it must be.
tacos.
Yep. Sounds more tacos than magic.
Tacos are a good way to get things done, I think.
Yeah.
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 I think I showed up the first morning with tacos. Hi, new friends.
She's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could play in her band.
Yeah, I can play. That's awesome. Very cool. That was the first time y'all had ever met, was whenever you...
I had known Will Sexton from previously, seeing him play, and kind of I bought a desk from him that I actually wrote a good portion of the songs at that I had forgotten about.
Okay.
But I'd never met Grant and Chris or Jan.
Okay.
So it was kind of an immediate, like, okay, cool. Now we're going to make a record.
Is there a period like at the beginning where you're like, okay, you go through each song and say this is the feel of it, or do you're like, they know what I'm going for? Do you have that trust?
There was a lot of trust, very much so in Justin. He knew them all, so it wasn't totally blind.
Right.
But we really wanted to keep that spontaneity and not be like, this is what this song is, but just like, this is kind of how this song goes roughly. Let's make it fun. Let's make it interesting. Let's not try to make a folk record. Let's not try to make an Americana record. Let's just make a record, and whatever it ends up being is what it'll be.
There's probably a good reason why Justin picked those particular people, I would imagine, because they had a style that he really liked for what you're doing. So it's like, if you go in there and tell everybody exactly what to do, you're kind of killing that.
Exactly.
So that's cool.
There was a
It's a good
lot
approach.
of latitude.
Yeah.
And we tried a lot of things, and some of them worked and made it on the record, and some of them didn't.
I can imagine that would have been hard to like let go a little bit of... Was it hard to like kind of let go and let them take, all the rein, like not all the reins, but just like grab a rein with you and like go along?
I'm going to say no, but I feel like if Justin was here, he'd be like, shush.
Okay, fair enough.
But it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Watch the process and to be part of it, but also not to know that I had the ability to come in and say like, oh, no, I hate that. That's not what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But also to be creative with other people versus micromanaging the details, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally.
So I know your EP, you said you recorded it in one day.
Mm-hmm.
With the synth. It sounded like you had more time with this full length.
Yeah.
What, I guess, with the process of bringing guys in that are new and aren't super familiar with it, how long did it take to kind of narrow that all down and get the tracks kind of where you wanted them to be?
We did basic tracking in 3 days.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we did key overdubs.
So wait, what does that mean? Like, what's basic tracking? Just if anybody doesn't know what that means.
Oh, I'm sure somebody
If
else can
anybody
explain
that-
it
that-
more
that's me.
eloquently.
What that
Like
means.
drums, bass,
Right.
guitar, scratch vocal.
Okay.
It's kind of enough to have a good outline of what was happening, and then we added keys, and I came in and cut like final vocals separately. We did it in 3 days. They were long days. There were lots of tacos.
It's still impressive to do that with 3 guys that you're not super familiar with. Because I know the process for us is very different.
Yeah.
You know, we've played songs for X amount of months, and then we, weeks before we go in the studio, we're having studio rehearsals, basically, where we're like, so that's what I'm just trying to get is really impressive to get those guys in and in 3 days cut a whole album.
I mean, they're all total badasses.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
It was just, and everybody, I think, really rose to the occasion. And having that time limit made us not go down so many rabbit holes. I think a lot of times we could have tried it like another different, 10 different ways. But knowing we had to get through 4 songs, 3 songs, and 3 songs, having that finite amount of space.
Makes sense.
It's like you can make, if you're painting, you can make any color you want. But if you only have a few colors, what you draw is now confined, and it makes you be more creative, but differently.
Right. What's that thing that Ben Levy always says? There's
there's no such thing as perfection, only deadlines.
Yep.
I really like that.
Yeah.
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 I feel like that kind of goes to what you're saying a little bit.
Exactly.
And I think there's some bands that we've had on before that talk about their process, and they don't necessarily have like a deadline. I don't know how they work like that. It's like I would never ever get anything done if it wasn't like, okay, we have to have this done by this date if we want to release it on this date.
Right. It's definitely nice to have what you're saying. That kind of like, okay, here's when it needs. This is what we have. It has to be done by this. Let's do it. Let's get it done. So now are these guys your band, permanent band?
No.
Oh, okay.
Will lives in Memphis, and Grant and Chris and Jan all have their projects that they're working on. So I put together a band, and I've got some people I call on when it's time to do a band show. But a lot of what I do ends up being acoustic, just solo.
Do you expect the guys that come in and play with you to just basically, okay, here's the album, learn the parts exactly as is, and then show up at the show? Or do you do rehearsals beforehand? Or is it kind of just
There's a lot of latitude there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's rehearsals. Sometimes it's like, here's this one part of the song that's kind of important now. Don't mess this part up.
Don't fuck it up.
But then a lot of it's too like, this is how we did it those 3 days. Maybe we do it differently this time.
So you're a little flexible when it comes to that.
Yeah, as long as the essence is there, I think it's, especially in a live show, I don't want to go to a live show as a fan and see the exact same thing note for note.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I
It's
love
nice to
Lindsey
go.
Buckingham, but I don't enjoy seeing him live because it's like a rote recitation of this is the song, and this is the story, and this is the thing.
Yeah.
But when you get all of them together, and it kind of turns into this like little winding path, and it's more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I feel like you can see it in like the band's faces too when they're able to be creative and like kind of put their own spin on things.
Yeah.
Like just more fun for everybody, and turn fun for the audience. I think
Exactly. It's looser.
Yeah.
It's a live moment, and it's not meant to be exactly what was on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about that raw emotions and even mess ups at times.
Exactly.
Like, there's that can affect a person depending on what they're going through at that moment in the stands, or as a fan, they hear that little thing, they go, "Oh shit, yeah, that was what I needed."
Real.
Yeah.
Have you ever played in front of somebody that was in stands? Right. Like, who are you talking
Yeah, I
about?
don't know why I said stands. Yeah.
It's like, what are we? We still on the baseball?
I was
thing?
while you
when
were
they're out
asking
there
me-
in the stands,
While you were asking that question, I was like,
The grandstand.
"Fuck!" I just set myself up for that. I was trying to think too, because I was like,
glad Matt said something.
"Yes,
I
the
was thinking
carnival
about
that
it.
we played at."
I was, that's what I thought too when you said stands, and he was like, "What stands?" I was like, "Maybe that Halloween carnival."
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When
But I don't
Michael
think that's
Myers was
stands.
staring at us for
Oh,
like 5
Jason.
minutes. Oh, Jason, that's what
Oh my
it was,
god,
yeah.
we
That was
played
terrifying.
we played this
It
Halloween
was very
show, and
poorly lit.
Jason was just standing there with like a fake machete, just like staring at the stage. I
Oh.
was like, this
But
machete's gonna go through
mind
Brian's
you,
chest.
There's no one there. Like
They were
it's-
ghosts.
Yeah, it was just
It was Halloween.
Yes.
It was just him and
the
a
ghost.
bunch of carnies kind of hanging out
Oh my God.
in front of wherever their stand was, and a pig race that was right over to the to the
Greased.
no, little
Oh,
piglets.
not a greased pig race,
like
unfortunately.
little like
Greased.
Indy 500 for piglets. Yeah.
And ghosts.
Yeah, apparently,
Lots of-
and ghost.
No stands though. Son
No,
of a bitch.
no stands.
Do you have a Halloween costume ready yet this year? I mean, we're a month away, or more than a month.
I had a really kick-ass Wonder Woman costume last year,
Oh, yeah?
and it was
Nice.
really cold
Oh no.
on Halloween. He probably doesn't listen to this podcast, so I can call him out. Matt the electrician had a show at Threadgills, and he advertised it as a Halloween costume contest.
Oh no.
And it was like 40 degrees maybe
brutal.
that night, and I show up in my Wonder Woman outfit, and I was committed because it's a contest and I had
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah. Competitive.
Did you do like
Little bit.
the movie Wonder Woman, like the new?
It was kind of like, it was a more of a Linda Carter Wonder Woman.
Right, yeah.
Nice.
You know, traditional old
Yeah.
school.
Absolutely.
But I had these awesome gold cowboy boots, and I had these blue sequin hot shorts that I found at a Goodwill like months ahead of time and didn't even know what to do with yet. And I was like, this is amazing.
I like that you
And-
bought them just in case. Yeah.
Well, Sparkle Folk, man. You never know when you're going to need sequins.
There you go.
So, but it was so cold. And I won the costume contest.
Oh.
Yes. That's awesome.
I was also like the one of two people who dressed up. Somebody was like, no,
Hey.
it's
Hey, man.
40 degrees. It was outdoors at
Oh
Threadgills.
man. So out of 2,
I
you're
gotta,
like, ow.
I gotta know what'd you win? What was
Yeah.
the prize?
A t-shirt.
Just a t-shirt.
Man.
Well, at least you
And
can
the-
warm up a
like
little
The
extra
bit.
large.
joy of winning.
Okay.
that's-
Yeah. That's
probably-
priceless. That's
yeah.
what that is.
Precisely.
That's
So I don't know what I'm going to be this year. I've had a couple ideas, but I haven't settled on anything. The right thing will come up, and if not, I have like 9 Stevie Nicks costumes, so it's cool.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's awesome. Yeah, one for every decade, like you said.
Yeah, I've been in my adult life. I've been Stevie Nicks for Halloween more times than not. Although one time, never mind.
What?
Uh-oh.
You can't never mind us. This segment is called Never Mind.
So one time, a friend of mine was playing a Halloween show, and I didn't know if it was going to be a costume situation or not. It was like, maybe it's like Halloween actual, and it's like a weekend, and it's Austin, so like maybe it could be.
Yeah. It should definitely be advertised
like,
on your poster. Like
We were
more
going to
of
go
the
to dinner
event.
after the show, and so it's kind of like, well, I don't want to be like that dweeb that shows up really Halloweened. So it was like, well, I can be a witch. I can be a witch, and if I get there and it's like a low-key Halloween situation, then I can take off the hat and I can just be Stevie Nicks.
Oh my god.
And then if it's like, whoa, girl, you went a little too far on just even the Stevie Nicks thing, I could like lose the shawl and leave it in the car, and then I'm just wearing a black dress.
There you go.
And then it won't be weird, and it was still weird.
Oh.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. But those parties are always tough where it's like or costume optional. It's like, shh,
What do I do?
I'm not going to go. Yeah, I'm just not going to go.
Just take a shower. Just get in the shower and think about
Would
this.
it be better if it said costume encouraged or don't come without a costume?
Yeah. They should say that.
You should
They
be
say
clear
that.
about your
Yeah.
intentions
Yeah.
on everything.
Especially if it's on Halloween.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This year,
Although, to be fair, nobody said it was a Halloween thing. It just happened to be October 31st.
okay.
Still, I mean,
That's okay.
it's a Halloween thing.
Yeah.
Right?
If it's on the 31st.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, I have
Like so.
Brian and I are playing a culinary Halloween show.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And we're gonna
culinary
I don't know
dropout.
what we're gonna
We
do.
should dress up.
Yeah, we
Oh
should.
my God. Please
Should we
wear-
do Mario and Luigi again?
Again, like they're
Oh my
Just
god.
a terrible.
just shitty uncles. Like,
Please be vampires. Please be vampires and just have giant like capes that go kind of way above here,
Dude.
like too high, like your collar's too high.
I feel like this might be the year that we have to do Jay and Silent Bob.
that'd be good.
Yes.
That would be worse
This might
too.
be the year.
That would be
I have
good.
the city
Yeah.
tours that day.
Brett's not going to shave.
I'm
I'm not
I'm
either.
definitely not shaving.
Not gonna
but
shave.
I'll,
Bearded.
I'll wear a
You
beanie.
should
Jay
put
and
that
Silent
makeup,
Bob.
like the flesh-colored makeup all over your beard.
Oh, dude, it'd be so
Remember
weird.
the- remember
My
the-
chin
I don't
would
like
be
that.
just
Remember the
You're
joke
gonna look like a big chin.
in Batman from the 60s, the Joker, Cesar Romero, the actor who played him, had his face painted, but he was like, I'm not going to shave my mustache. So when you watch it, you can still see his mustache just covered over
Oh my God.
with white paint. Yeah, that's great.
Jesus Christ.
That's terrible,
It is terrible.
but wonderful.
So when the album came out, it came out in July,
Yes.
you had your face up on Waterloo Records, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool because like 1 million people drive there every day.
Is it an actual million?
I don't know, but I
I
bet
feel like there's probably metrics on this
I'm
that I
sure
didn't
there
look
is,
up. but-
probably like 20,000,
Yeah, I'd say at least 20,000.
30,000. I don't
Somewhere
know.
between that and 1 million.
Wait, are we
Yeah.
counting
I
people or are we
feel
counting
like
cars?
That's a very wide spread. But yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
saw it.
Wait. People or cars?
People are cars.
People or cars?
Yeah, I think that's a new law, right? People are cars.
Yeah.
Cars are
Yeah,
people for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you see Christine?
I did. That was good. Did people notice you, right?
Yeah, people did notice.
Did it help? I mean, does it Does it feel big, your record, when your face is on the front of like Austin's #1 record store?
Oh, totally. And it
Yeah.
was, right up in front. It was like next to like real people that like have careers. Like I was right next to Amanda Shires' poster, and I was just like, huh,
She's awesome.
right? So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Was it on, I think I saw a pic, was it like one of those stations where you could go and listen to it or something like
Yeah,
that
it was on
too?
the Here Texas Here also.
Yeah.
Man,
Nice.
I miss
You could
those so
see
much.
it outside and come in and listen to it.
Shout out to
I'm
the Here
glad
Texas
Waterloo
Here.
does that.
Yeah, Waterloo does some really cool things.
Yeah.
It is pretty sweet.
When you make an album, is it, in terms of an accomplishment, is it like, okay, this is a step now, like now I can think about other things, or like I had to accomplish this, or does it just feel natural, like in terms of like when you're making music, is getting an album out your best milestone so far, you think?
Yeah, it was definitely a step I had to take.
Mm.
It's hard to, like, if you don't have a CD for people to take home, or if you don't have something to send to bookers at clubs or festivals or whatever, it's hard to be like, I want to come play your thing.
Mhm.
When you're like, but you can't hear what I sound like, sorry.
Really good. Trust me, it's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
Right? My mom says I'm great. So it definitely was a thing I needed to have accomplished, and part of one of the things that I like, when I decided to see if I could do anything with music, I made a list of like, this is kind of what this would look like, and this is the steps I need to take, and making a record was pretty paramount to a lot of other things that come next.
Yeah, and in terms of like getting something out, especially for other people or clubs, like a lot of bands or groups now just do the single or they'll do the EP. But like doing an album, that's like another step. So you had to balance getting it out, but you obviously made the decision to make a full length.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of throw down and say I'm serious about this versus just here's an EP that I kind of did because I needed to go to Folk Alliance. It's like, no, this is artistic and this has value intrinsically with the songs versus this is something I just, whatever.
You saw, I mean, you already had the material
Mhm.
written, so you, in your mind, this was a full album of an idea and concepts, and
Yeah.
you always wanted it together.
Yeah, and there were songs that didn't make the record because they didn't get along when you like let them out back to play.
Yeah.
Or they said too much of the same thing.
Are they songs that you like that you'd be interested in putting out later? They just didn't fit?
They just didn't fit this time, but you never know. Sometimes you go back and throw a song from the archives onto
Yeah.
something new.
Yeah, having that cohesive idea for an album, like where all the songs kind of play off each other. Because we've talked about that several times on the podcast because going back to what Matt was saying, a lot of people do singles and this and that. And it, to me, as...
We're still on team album here, I think.
Yeah,
Most of
we're
us,
definitely
yeah.
team album. Cause
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I like to listen to
Yeah.
songs too. I don't like to skip. I don't skip songs, even if I'm not a fan of them. I'll let it play if it's part of the album that I'm listening to. I'll let it play. But so yeah, I do like that idea of having that whole.
And I like the experience, like, vinyl records too, to sit down and like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are listening to this record.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're not going to pick up
The
the needle.
break, the
Go.
pacing of flipping over the record and kind of where that comes in the songs is important.
Mhm.
Like, I spent a ton of time sequencing the record for vinyl, and it's not even out on vinyl yet, but like, it was super important to me to have that flow.
Yeah.
That
So when you
each
switch to
would
side
be
B, you
its-
got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would start kind of up and it would end. You'd have that nice decay of the drums on the last time as the record side ended.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's welcome Clint. Let's get Clint in here.
Get you
Clint
plugged in.
is here.
You said, hi, how's it going? You have no microphone.
I'm Nichole, by the way.
Clint.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
So I wanted to ask you about this idea of, so I don't know if you self-label or if you had, how you describe yourself, but this idea of Americana or folk, and then versus, country, because some of your songs have a little country edge, some is Americana. Is it just easy to say Americana, or do you think you have a grasp on what that means in your identity?
I don't know that anybody
I don't
can
know. Yeah.
truly define Americana. I've
Right.
heard it as like anybody who's ever once worn a cowboy hat and
Okay.
wore boots. I feel like that's
Pretty broad.
broad enough. That'll work for me. Genre is not super, like, it's important, but it's not either. I don't know, like, I don't listen to a genre. Embarrassing story time. I told somebody once in like 5th grade that I wasn't allowed to listen to rock and roll because I didn't know what it was.
So
Wait, you weren't allowed because you didn't know what it was?
Well,
Or
it's
you
like I
just
didn't
said
know
you
what it
didn't?
was,
Okay.
and so it came up in a thing, and I was like, I'm not allowed to listen to that because like there wasn't like genres growing up for me. It was like the Beatles, John Hyatt, Richard Thompson, Joni Mitchell. Like those are all rock things that I was totally listening to, but didn't know that they were rock and roll.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah, when I grew up, rock and roll always seemed like really heavy to me. Like, oh, they're a rock band. It's
Right.
like, oh shit, they're
So
like.
what was the band that you would say was rock and roll?
I mean,
back then?
I
Van
don't
Halen?
know.
Yeah.
Like
What was the what you were supposed
in my
to stay
mind,
away
I was
from?
conflating it more with like,
Heavy metal or something like
yeah,
that?
like I don't know, Ozzy Osbourne or something that was very like kind of a little bit outside of my comfort zone. But like, what does any of that mean? Because if Joni Mitchell and like, who knows what is rock? If we're gonna play that game,
It's pretty broad.
what
Broad
is
as well.
pop? Pop is just popular. Pop in the 40s is not pop of today.
Right,
So like,
yeah.
what does it really matter? That wasn't.
I just let
question you
I just
asked
let
at all.
Sirius
Well,
Sirius
we
Radio
got
decide
there.
now. Sirius has decided what pop is, what decades are, what metal music is.
And now Sirius
Exactly, like-
has our music because they just bought Pandora today.
oh,
Yeah, I just
they
heard
acquired
that.
Pandora today, so
Well.
maybe
They're
we'll
thinking
get,
about sponsoring the podcast.
Yeah, I hope
from
so.
what I heard.
Yeah. So
maybe we'll show up on some serious radio, some serious things.
yeah,
Man.
and go ahead and start your very own Fair City Fire channel on
Yeah,
Pandora
on,
today.
Yeah, sponsored.
Go to Sirius.com and
Yeah.
enter promo code FairCityFire for 0% off your monthly subscription.
That's a Matt Jones guarantee.
Yeah.
Are you on Pandora, Nicole?
Probably.
Cool. You should look. You should find her on there.
Do you manage a lot of that, like the logistical music destinations and technical aspects of where your music is?
Yeah, but I like the ones that have reporting. I'm a numbers nerd.
Okay.
So my.
So a lot of them are kind of black boxes, and the artist can't tell what's going on. Like, are people listening? Do people care? Where are those people from? At least, for all of its problems, Spotify has some pretty good analytics you can use to get an idea of like where people are listening from, what other things they're listening to. And I like that information, especially as like an artist starting out, to kind of know where those pockets might be.
Yeah, and so I saw that because on your website you have the Spotify playlist there. So that's how I listen to it. Everybody listens on Spotify anyway. But you also have on YouTube too, I think, right?
Yeah.
Did you, Nicole, growing up, were you into music? Did you play in any band or orchestra or chorus or anything?
Not really.
When did you pick it up?
And like music was always very important in our house. Like we had a record player, and I remember getting to use the record player as soon as I was tall enough to reach it. I had like my own little stack of like, these are the records you can play, and if you scratch them, like it's probably not that big of a deal. And then I got like the little Fisher Price record player.
Oh
and
yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
toted that
Yeah.
around, and I had one of those ones with the microphone, and you could put a tape, like a
Oh,
cassette
yeah.
tape in there and record
Mm-hmm.
and then play it back. And so
That's
I
pretty
filled up
sweet.
a lot of those tapes.
That's awesome.
Do you have any of them still?
My dad says he has them in a box. Dad, if you listen to this, please keep that box to yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah, Clint's got some tapes too. Clint
I have
actually-
one.
Yeah,
I have-
That's a big
We have one. I think we
Clint
have one of
tapes.
Clint's tapes here in Austin.
And then I wanted to do music in high
Yeah.
school, but like didn't have the musical knowledge. Like I sang for my own enjoyment, but wasn't in choir really. Didn't play an instrument with any sort of mastery worthy of like performing in front of people that were not related to me. Like I could play a little piano and like recorder.
Like a little tiny taiko piano.
Like a
No, like we
Charlie
had
Brown
national piano, and I kind of could play it, but like definitely not like come to my recital level of skill, and I wasn't in an orchestra or any of those things. So that was a real barrier to me wanting to be a musician.
So what? I mean, so what was it in you that was like, okay, I'm gonna get a guitar and I'm gonna start singing for people?
I got a guitar going into college.
Happenstance, or did you?
No,
was it
I
intent?
I took myself down to like the music go round, and I bought a $45 Galveston guitar.
Is that a brand, Galveston guitar?
It is a brand.
Wow.
It's,
You can name it after the city.
it's red. I was very proud of it. But it was a $45 guitar, so you can imagine kind of playability was questionable at best. But I taught myself a little bit on that, and then played an open mic in college, and it was a disaster. I was like,
What
well,
happened?
like, I forgot all the words, and also it was like a Christian rap open mic, and I brought my Patty Griffin song. So
Man,
Did you know that going in?
there's a lot to
Oh.
unpack there. They're like Christian rap open mic, huh?
I didn't even
That's
know
a
that.
very niche market. I
Open
think.
mic there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
right?
And like,
Was
my
there just
guitar
one
didn't
guy?
plug in,
Hey,
and I
cut the
didn't
rock.
know what the deal was. And,
Just-
like, I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just like, well, that's a thing that I am clearly not cut out to do.
Did you still played the?
Like for my dog, but then
For
I
your dog?
didn't play like in front of people that.
No, at the open mic. Did you play at the open
Yeah,
mic?
the hip hop
Oh,
or Christian
Yeah,
rap?
because like I was already signed up, and
Yeah.
it was kind of too late to be like, JK.
How'd
Yeah.
it turn out?
Well, my guitar didn't plug in, didn't have any electronics, so there was that.
Did they set up a mic in front of you, or did you have to go just raw into the
just-
crowd there?
Yeah, it was rough
Oh,
times. And I was nervous and also just completely not. I wasn't ready.
Well, so sorry to have to make you relive it, but look how far you've come.
I know. What made you?
Exactly.
Because after that experience, I'm sure a lot of people would be like, "All right, that's it.
Well,
I'm gonna
so
sell
then
this
I just-
guitar for $15,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna
Yeah, so I just didn't do
Yeah.
anything, and I played like I'd play through more Patty Griffin songs in my kitchen, and my dog would listen, and I'd get to like a B minor and be like, so this song's done.
Nice.
Then I moved to Austin, and I was not playing music and didn't really bring my guitar with me, and kind of just put it aside until a friend of mine that I had lost touch with I ran into her at a Bonnie Raitt show, and then like 3 more years passed and we didn't talk, but then like we started talking about Fleetwood Mac, and she was like, hey, remember how you were gonna like be a songwriter? What happened?
Oh man.
And I was like, right, that thing that I didn't do. I was like, she's like, well, why didn't you? And I was like, well, and I didn't have a good answer. It was like, I'm scared because I'm not very good at it, because I don't know. So I wrote a plan and was like, okay, step 1, learn to play guitar.
There you go.
Good place to start. And like I played a little bit, and like I said, I had some like very rudimentary level skills, and just
Everything but the B minor.
I had learned B minor by then. But I just kind of built from there and took lessons, and then about a year later did another open mic, and
Where
it
was that one?
New World Deli.
Fucking
And that
killed
was
it.
an appropriate place to
So,
share
yeah,
my songs.
It wasn't,
did
it
you,
wasn't Christian rap rock that night, or Christian
No,
rap.
it was
open
very,
mic that night at the New
guitar
World Deli.
folk driven.
Atheist rock.
I bet.
Good, yeah.
I bet you did your research on what that open mic was.
I sure
Before you
did.
went.
I went for like 3 weeks, and then they were like, do you want to
Yeah.
play? And I was like, no,
That's awesome.
next week.
I shall return next week, though. Now that I've seen the place, I shall return.
Was that still on the same Galveston guitar?
No, I had upgraded when I had played guitar for like however many years. My dad got me a nicer Taylor, and was like, because he made a deal with my little sister about her violin for the same thing, and like if you play for X number of years, you can have like a nicer instrument. And so I had a nicer guitar, and like a guitar that was playable. So it was on that, and then nobody died,
There you go.
There you go.
and I did it
good
again the
low bar.
next week, and it was
Shout out to New
better.
World Deli, right?
Yeah, Hudson James ran that open mic for a long time, and then Kate Howard took it over, and then I took it over from Kate, and now Heather Miller runs it. And
Awesome.
it's still going strong on Monday nights,
Hey.
aka right now.
So the guitar, the singing, songwriting was a catharsis for you for a while before you were able to share it with other people.
Yeah.
I mean, has it always been, an exercise for you and just like expressing
Where
your own
else are
emotions and
feelings
feelings?
gonna go?
I'm still trying to figure it out. I have no idea.
Push
yeah.
him, just
Shower?
push him way down.
Yeah.
Down the drain in the shower.
Yeah, in the shower. Push him down in the shower. Get down there.
Yeah, you can do.
Yeah, that's where you discover the shower beer. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like one of my favorite little tricks of life. Just
Yeah,
you know.
it is a nice little
Especially,
treat.
That's a great. Yeah, I might go home and have one right now.
Yeah. Do you guys want to play a game?
Yes.
Do you want to play a game?
Maybe.
Yeah.
What's the game?
I'm gonna keep going with this one, the simple truth. So this is the
Love it.
game where I've data mined some
Oh
interesting
my.
questions from not from me, from Yahoo Answers. Do you know that website? The idea of
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So you ask questions, or people ask questions about random things.
And you get wrong answers, right?
Yeah. Well, they can, but the users vote on the top answer. But I think on this podcast we're pretty much an authority on life and
We've had some top answers on
I
this
think-
podcast before.
I think we're in a position to give regular people answers to their queries. I think.
That's why they give us microphones.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that's what we're gonna do. This game is called The Simple Truth. So we'll go around in a circle and ask each one of you a question. I mean, we can. There's no rules to this game, and there are no stakes, so it doesn't really matter. But I think we need to provide the people of Yahoo an answer to their questions. All right. So Brett, let's start out with you.
Okay.
Why do old people have big ears?
I just know as the cartilage in your nose and your ears never stop growing
That's
as
true,
you get
right?
older.
The nose and ears just
Yeah.
keep growing.
Yeah.
So that's my
Well,
answer.
How about that?
Yeah.
I think
Is
that's
that actually true? I feel like that's
I don't
just an old wives' tale.
I think it's true.
I think it's
I think
the
it's
only
true.
part of your body
If-
that doesn't stop
if Brett-
growing.
Oh.
If Brett said it, then I believe it.
Thank you.
It was
Yeah.
probably an
Thank you,
old
Brett.
wife who had big ears. Old wives' tale. so.
Oh yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
Could it be?
It's classic.
Is it like a satellite? Like, because when you get older, you lose your hearing. Maybe it's like
if you ever,
if
we were
you-
doing this at
bigger
the show
ear,
the other day.
yeah.
You know how much that helps.
So we're
It
gonna
does.
say.
A little
Yeah,
louder
it
and
does help,
crisper.
yeah.
So the answer is cartilage keeps growing.
Yep.
Okay. Next question.
All right. There you have it. Brian, can you give me some information about Jupiter?
That's not even a question. What the hell?
That's some
Okay,
kid
oh,
having
I guess
a school
can you?
project.
The train song "Drops of Jupiter" comes to mind for some reason.
Yeah.
That was a song.
It has drops.
Yeah.
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 It has. So that's pretty much my answer. Yeah, I think it's.
There are
Just
drops
go
of-
listen to that
Can
song.
you-
It'll
can
tell you
you
everything you need
Give
to
us
know.
more about that song.
Yeah. Where were these drops?
How does that?
Were they
Something
in
about
her head?
Tybo, right? No,
Ooh.
Tybo,
I
right?
don't know about that.
She checks out Mozart while she does typo.
There
Yeah.
you go.
That's
okay.
yes.
Boom.
There we. Thank you. I needed that assist.
And it reminds you that there's room to grow.
So I think
It's an RBM.
my answer is
Thank you.
my answer is if you want to know more about Jupiter,
Ass train.
yeah, ask Train and maybe get yourself a Tybo class.
All right. Clint,
Yes.
liquid detergent or powder detergent? Which is good?
I mean, from a moral standpoint,
Oh, I don't know.
or
You tell
Like
us.
good or evil?
like, I feel like I need more information to
Yeah, that'd be
properly
great,
answer
huh?
that question.
We'll start with a moral and then work your way through
morally,
cleanliness.
They're inanimate objects, so I would say they're probably about the same.
But one's liquid and
You're
one's
wrong.
powder. Yeah.
I like
Ooh.
the liquid one,
Already mixed.
but that's
right?
because I'm a liberal, so you know.
Well, but which one's more environmentally
Let's
conscious?
making this political.
Do we know this? Oh,
I don't know.
Nicole has all the answers.
Which one is? You know.
It should be called Nicole
I
Answers.
bet that the powder is probably more
True story.
environmentally conscious. It's because I feel like you need less of it.
But they're both coming
And
in
less
plastic
packaging.
containers.
Yeah.
No, because you can get
You can get a box.
you can
of,
get cardboard and you can make
powder.
your own with borax.
On the
Oh my
on the
God.
powdered note, we found a box of my grandma. We were helping her do some laundry the other day, and we found a box of like powdered detergent that looked like she had been using.
Oh.
That's probably like 30 years old.
Oh my God.
that
And-
was not where I thought
I
this
don't-
was going.
But then we were like, is this all she's been using? Then we found like some liquid detergent, but apparently it looked like it would still work.
Is there a
So it
healthy
stays
mix?
longer,
Is that
you know?
possible?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Glad
What's
that-
your
Glad we
Nicole?
talked
What's
about
your opinion on this? You seem to.
that. Perk up.
It's fine.
Laundry packs.
Well, anyway.
Now you must know. What is it?
Well,
Is it powder or
powder is far more environmentally friendly.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Because again, you can make it it doesn't have the liquid, so you can put it in a cardboard box, which is recyclable, versus the plastic, which is harder to reuse again.
Is the powder as digestible as Tide Pods?
Well, no, because in Tide Pods there's liquid and there's powder.
Oh shoot! That's why people are
But
getting
they're
hurt
in
by it.
plastic,
Yeah.
so
But
that's
they're-
it.
Okay.
Yeah, Tide Pods are a whole nother problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. Make your own detergent, friends.
There you go.
Ooh.
You heard
Yeah.
it here first.
Make your own
Wow.
detergent.
It's a craft
All right.
project.
And don't eat it.
No,
Yeah.
don't
That,
eat it.
that would be the Yahoo answer. I would go
But
with
you
that.
can get
Make your
soap
own
nuts.
detergent.
Yeah.
And those are like super non-toxic.
Oh,
What's
okay.
that?
There's these thing called soap nuts.
Ooh.
Kid you not?
Okay.
And
One of
You
my
have my
also one of my
attention.
shower emotions.
God damn it. Oh, that's brutal.
We're not going to be able to use any of this. Ah.
Matt's ruining this.
You need to keep your emotions in the shower.
so
Stop sharing
you know,
them.
those are also things that exist and you can
This
use.
is why
and
Matt
they're all
doesn't share his
natural, and then
emotions
you can
in
plant them.
public.
Wait, you can plant these?
Yeah, they're like seeds.
Fuck yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
You can get them at like Wheatsville or
I learned way
wherever.
more
Okay,
from
okay.
that question than I thought I was going
Yeah,
to.
right? I definitely learned a lot. So make your own detergent and
Or use soap nuts.
Or use soap
Soap nuts.
The environment thanks you.
boom. You heard it here first, folks.
All right, Joe.
What's up?
I have been asleep since 2014, and I'm just now waking up. What did I miss?
What year is it now? What did, like currently?
Wait, what?
Well, when did he post this question? Like,
Oh,
did he,
yeah.
did he post it the next
Currently.
day? You know, was it New Year's Day, New Year's
2018.
Eve, 2014, and
Yeah.
That's a
now,
good, you know.
now
Yeah.
it's January 1st.
Good
you know?
basis to
It's
establish.
current.
Okay, it's
That's
current.
current.
So in 4 years,
So
huh?
tell this fella today.
He
What did
fell
you miss?
asleep in 2014,
Mhm.
and now it's 2018.
What are the highlights of the last 4 years?
Oh man, I mean, where do
Of
I
life.
begin? Jeez.
See,
that's
France
the-
won the
that's the
World
point.
Cup.
France won the World Cup.
The Cubs won the World Series.
Yep, yeah. Ooh,
Cubs
that would
won
be
the World
surprising.
Series.
Actually, that's probably
Astros
Yeah.
won the World Series too
Oh, wow.
for the
That's
first
no-
time. For the
not
first
as
time ever.
surprising.
First time. You know,
100.
it took
Come
us a
on.
while, but hey, we got our first one.
Really, you want to go there?
I just said it took us a while. We just got our first one. That's all I said. So both teams won in the 4 years.
And okay.
you know,
it's probably the most
Oprah
important
retired. Oprah's
Did
done.
she really?
Yeah, I think. Well, not really. She's got a hand. She's got an influence in everything.
I saw she's doing frozen pizzas now.
What?
She is.
Yeah.
O by O Pizza or O. What is it called?
Oh, pizza.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Oprah's doing pizza now. You
So
almost
Oprah's
missed
taken over
that.
the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you almost missed that. Good thing you woke up. Let's see.
That's one of the big ones. Oprah's doing frozen pizza.
What else? And
I can't think of anything
man,
else.
I can't think of anything else either.
No.
It's what you thought Facebook was doing. Yeah, they were doing it.
What about all the new entertainment that's coming to the world in the last 4 years?
Let's see.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah, we've got. There's more. There's people with face tattoos now.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
is
there
that
has been
a new
for a long time.
Ghostbusters?
There was a new Ghostbusters.
yeah, that was-
The Me Too movement happened. It's happening.
What's happening?
So
Big
you're in the
one.
middle of that. Let's see. Man,
so if you were a grabber,
That might
well,
be.
probably shouldn't have woken
you
up.
probably shouldn't have woken up. You should
Yeah.
probably just stay asleep then,
Yeah.
sir. Or ma'am. You should probably stay asleep, sir or ma'am. And yeah, I think that's it. I won't even get started on our politics though.
So
Yeah.
Oprah Pizza.
That was an evil
probably.
laugh.
Oprah
Oprah
pizza.
pizza.
You almost missed Oprah pizza.
All right, Nicole. We'll finish off with this. 'Cause I feel like this person is lying. Okay.
The other person wasn't. I've been sleeping for 4 years.
Yeah.
How to respond? This is the way it was written. How to respond when boss tries to make you come in sick? I work at a restaurant. I've been sick the past few days. My boss even saw me coughing my lungs out. Well, today, 3 hours before my shift, I called in sick. Now my boss is texting me, telling me to come in later. And I don't know how to respond because I cannot stop coughing and snotting everywhere. But I'm going to the doctor. What should I say?
Wow.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, I'd say
I would
so.
like to start by saying that I think that we should have better health care so that this kind of thing doesn't happen. However,
Unpaid sick leave.
as
Hashtag Miss America.
That fits into the purview of Yahoo Answers, though. That answer.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
also though, like if you might infect somebody else, then you should stay home. Nobody wants to be sick because you were sick.
Idiot.
That was unnecessary.
I was adding that in with your answer. Sorry, maybe that's
Joke,
not where you were going.
Friend.
I think.
Joe, can you not call our guests idiots, please?
I wasn't calling Nicole an
for
idiot.
once.
I was.
For one episode, could you not?
I'm sorry. That's my thing. You know.
And then
I guess
you
that's my
know,
thing now.
But also, like, as somebody who manages people at a work situation, like, it'd be nice to know that you weren't coming in. So I would want you should contact your manager or boss. I realize this person's not here and probably asked this question like 10 years ago, so it doesn't matter.
No,
but-
these are all from this
I
week.
believe they said
Yeah.
that their boss wanted them to still come.
They're probably
in.
listening.
So,
That
like,
person
I
probably-
understand
they're
that-
sick.
When she said they'll
What
come
do you
in
say to the
later,
boss?
when she said come in later, did she mean like come in later for work
Today,
or come in later
yeah.
just to
Yeah.
see
I
me
think it said
so I
the
can
boss
get
was
to work.
get
coming
fired?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not.
Well, if you
Well, you're
have to
sick.
go to work and you're sick, you should take precautions like a face mask
Mm-hmm.
and washing your hands extra and maybe wearing gloves.
Yep.
Also, you should take yourself out of any particular food service immediate direction, possibly trade work with somebody who's, I don't know, washing dishes or doing something else that is not directly tied to food.
Or interacting with guests.
Well,
There's
working.
lots of ways that a good manager can help you.
I want
Boom.
a picture of your snot rags. You prove it.
Prove it.
Yeah. Well, especially in restaurants, right? Brett, you worked in restaurants. Like, it's a revolving door of like 18-year-old kids that are always calling in hungover or want to go to a party.
Yeah, I
too.
mean-
So it's a delicate balance.
Yeah, like it's, are you really sick?
Yeah.
And then also, like,
Yeah, but if you're lying,
What are you
Ultimately,
doing
but
about
if you get me sick, then we have
Right.
problems. So.
Or yeah, if that's the thing. Yeah, fine. Go in and just like puke over everybody.
and
know?
if you're lying
all over
about
Then
it,
you'll never have to come in again.
You're probably actually gonna get sick. Sorry, and you're not
It's
an
easy.
idiot. You're not an idiot for
Yeah.
not for going into work
No.
when you're sick.
No,
Sorry.
yeah,
I'm
I would
sorry.
say yeah. Don't go into
Just
work
go to
sick.
sleep for 4 years.
Yeah.
Try
There
again
you
later.
go. Yes.
You'll wake up better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you wake up,
Get some
everything will
rest.
be okay.
Yeah, when you wake up, there'll be Oprah pizza.
Just waiting for you.
Yeah.
All baked at 375 degrees for 23 minutes.
It's probably like
Listen to
425.
Drops of Jupiter.
Yeah,
You gotta
probably
get that
425.
Matter of
You're
fact, guys,
you want
if
that
you-
crispy.
on like a pizza stone.
If you go ahead and just look under your chair,
Oh my God! There's Oprah pizza here. Oh, Brett, so good.
You get a frozen pizza.
you get a frozen pizza. You get a frozen
I
pizza.
kind of thought there was going to be something there for a second.
There was something there, Clint. This is radio. They can't see it.
yeah.
That's why we don't have you around here. You know?
Sorry.
rude.
Before we go, you can check out your Instagram, website, and the Sky Caught Fire, Spotify. Do you have physical copies in Waterloo still?
I do. You can get it at Waterloo. You can get it from me on my website or at shows. I'm actually playing in Denver on
I
the
saw
30th,
that.
opening for Maria Muldaur.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're getting around, huh?
Yeah.
Getting to tour a little bit.
Yeah. Doing some fly dates.
And the was that a country festival in Connecticut that you're doing?
It's the Apple Harvest Festival.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm really stoked about.
dude.
There had better be apple pie.
There is
Apple Harvest. There has
autumn.
to be. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
northeast apple harvest in autumn is one of the greatest things.
Apple
Yeah.
Harvest Day.
Yeah.
Pretty stoked
Get
about
some
that.
cider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be sweet.
Fair City Fire, you guys got November 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Saxon
Yeah.
Pub with Capybara, our Wichita friends, and Fine Fidelity, our Austin friends.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So excited.
Anything else you want to promote?
Use powder detergent
Yeah, powder detergent.
Save
No,
the
make
world.
your own,
Yeah.
or make
for the
your own,
environment.
or make your own detergent.
You can make your own. Were you just making, what was it, banana muffins and
Yeah.
Mexican chocolate
I
something?
made
What was it?
7 loaves of banana nut bread and a dozen muffins,
My goodness
and
gracious.
then 5 dozen Mexican hot chocolate snickerdoodles.
So is that like 35 rotten bananas to make 7 loaves?
I actually got more bananas than I thought I needed.
Okay.
Or no, I ended up with more bananas than I needed. It's like 3 large bananas per loaf.
That's yeah.
So 21 bananas plus
That's a
a
lot
few.
of rotten bananas.
Did you make
They're
this
not
just
rotten.
For like,
Well, I mean, in that what
Just-
I meant that in a good way.
just, like that's what you like to do, or was there an event, or like was like?
I love to bake, but part of my Kickstarter to fund the record actually
Cool.
was baked goods.
So you did a bake sale online, a virtual.
Through the
essentially.
Kickstarter, yeah.
So
Whoa.
like 10 people picked one of my signature baked goods, and I baked them all, and I have one more to deliver.
Like they're in.
Excellent. That'd be good on the merch table.
You
Like
delivered
it's
anything?
literally
Yeah.
in my card. I'm
Oh
taking
my gosh!
it
Did you
after
deliver
this.
them out to everybody?
I did. I put a couple in the mail today because they were like Fairbanks, Alaska, and
Whoa.
Whoa! Goodness gracious.
yeah. So,
Okay. No, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
but
Why'd you mention that?
because you didn't ask.
I didn't
Oh,
I
I'm
don't know.
sorry. We didn't ask
Come on,
about
Joe.
this.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. I should
Now
have
you're
been.
throwing,
Talking
both,
about
you're
it
throwing all of
now,
us under the
right?
bus.
I should have been there on that one. I'm sorry, y'all.
Joe's like, Matt, you're the host and you suck too.
So yeah.
No, that's
I
Joe's
made
the
a lot of
troll.
cookies
He's the
and
troll.
bread, and
That's super cool.
I usually also bake in large quantities.
Yeah.
I was just reminded on Facebook, like with the memories thing, that
Mhm.
like 9 years ago. 9 years ago this week, I made 144 muffins.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
I was trying to get somebody's attention.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Did you
Okay.
spell out something on the top, like, or
I did
anything?
not.
No.
And did it work? Did it work?
It did work.
Ooh.
Did you give that person all 144 muffins?
No.
That would have been.
Was that
impressive.
like a 12 times 12 thing?
Did you pick out the best
like
12?
Yeah.
Was it okay? All
like
right. I'm getting to
A dozens.
I'm getting to the bottom of this. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes when I want attention, I bake in large quantities.
There you go. Well, it worked as long as it worked.
Yeah. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. My mileage varies substantially.
There's always something tasty at the end. That's the good part.
Yeah, at least you get. So wait, what
Yeah.
happened to all the muffins that get eaten?
Well, so that's the thing is when you make that many muffins.
Do you know if they were all eaten? Nicole, give us the. Do we
No,
know
they
if
were
all
totally all eaten.
Okay, good.
But you like have to spread them. Like, if the point of making the muffin and or baked good is to like send some to somebody that you want attention from,
Yeah.
you have to, but you can't. It's a weird thing. I don't know, man.
Hey,
Like you have to.
it's an open floor out here.
You should post about it several times. Like, I made some muffins. Does anybody want some muffins? And then if somebody who like you don't want to give muffins to is like, I want muffins, and you're like,
Ah, damn it. Well, at
I
least
can't tell you that I'm out of muffins because then when I
So
post
was
about
the
the
first
muffins
11
again,
batches just going to the wrong person? And then finally,
Yep.
here,
Finally, you got that right.
got
person
that
to want a
muffin gateway.
No, hey,
I mean, maybe
we all do it.
stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
You
awesome.
know,
Like the first 12 got claimed by somebody else. Oops, I actually had a baker's dozen. So if anybody in particular.
you know.
That's a great idea.
On what
Yeah.
muffin did you finally strike gold? Like what? Did
Well-
you get to 144 and then finally it happened, or like was it
No,
like muffin
but-
12 and you were like, oh man, I made all these muffins and worked on the 12th muffin? I'm wondering like.
What?
I'm wondering at
You
what.
don't make muffins individually.
No, I. That's your problem with the question. I love it. You don't make just one muffin now. Well then, like,
Okay, so-
after two, so what dozen did it? Okay, I'll make it.
I feel like we'll
do it
was
better.
like-
maybe
What-
continue this.
Probably like 6th or 7th dozen, but like
Okay.
I'd already
Nice.
committed to some other muffin situations,
Now we're getting to the bottom
and
of
then
this.
for whatever
That's the
reason,
hashtag.
like
The muffin situation?
Yeah.
Definitely.
it's a new band name.
Yeah.
Like my family's huge.
Okay.
Okay.
There's like so when my grandparents had their anniversary, it was like there was 100 living descendants from just my grandparents.
Yeah.
So like I learned to bake from my grandmother mostly, and when she bakes,
awesome.
she's made large quantities because you have that many kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah.
You know, 9 kids and 30 some grandchildren, and like
Mhm.
you just exponentially you have to make a lot of whatever you're making.
Yeah.
So it didn't really occur to me also to not like double each recipe.
Okay.
So inherently I started with like 4 dozen muffins just
Okay.
because that's how my recipe was written, was like, you
Yeah.
know, 6 cups of flour, and I'm like, that sounds legit cool. And then
Okay,
you're like, I'm
yeah.
still baking muffins. But
Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
so it wasn't quite as crazy as it sounds.
No, not crazy at all. Didn't
it
sound
was-
crazy in the beginning.
So you had to make 12 dozen muffins so that your family could eat 11 dozen, and then the other dozen could go to who you're really baking muffins for.
Well, you said it took like the 6th, the 4th.
Yeah, my
Basically,
family
that's-
got some muffins.
So they got a little bit. They got like
and
one or
some
two
other
trays.
people got some muffins, and then some like random people got some muffins.
Then the right person got a muffin.
But nobody's really gonna like me. No, I don't want a muffin.
Yeah.
You know what the saddest thing about this is?
True.
Is there some?
I didn't get any muffins.
All right.
I didn't know
I think
you.
That's the saddest
Yeah.
thing.
No,
I know.
None of us
It
did.
was like 10 years
or
ago.
banana bread.
I'm still sad about it.
Well,
think he
you
just wants
didn't
it.
back the Kickstarter at the banana
Okay.
bread level
Oh,
either.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay, yeah, you want to play games, friend?
Good point. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to see myself out now.
And that was the 3rd strike.
All right. Yeah.
And the
We're
sky
outta
caught
here.
fire.
All right.
Oh, full circle with the baseball analogy. I like
Yeah.
it.
It's a cycle.
All right.
Good stuff.
Oh, there's no
That's
circles
awesome.
in baseball, Clint. Oh, the ball. Never mind. All right. Let's get out of here,
like,
huh?
That's why
Spherical.
baseball's awesome. Is that like you have to run to first, and then you have to go to second. Like there's no.
Can't go backwards.
I mean,
yeah,
you
like
could.
this whole like football thing where you like go back and forth and
Find yourself in a pickle.
You don't usually though.
Yeah.
You're constant, like, you have to go. It's
You
like
have
the
to go-
Catholic
yes,
Mass
you
of
do
sports.
have to go that way. You're right.
Yeah.
Catholic Mass.
There's an order to it.
There's an order to it. Right.
Right.
In the 7th inning, everybody's going to get up and stretch and sing the song. It's the same
Sing the
song no matter
song.
where you are. It's very comforting.
That's right. Everybody
That's
knows the
all I'm saying.
lyrics.
Exactly.
Well, fantastic.
I want to do that.
Baseball is Americana. Nichole Wagner is Americana, as we understand it.
That's Americana.
Muffins
That's
are Americana.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Anyway,
Well,
And the
thank you.
never-ending podcast continues.
Thanks, Nicole.
thank
you.
you guys.
Check her out. Check out her website. Check out her Spotify. Check out Fair City Fire. Just check stuff out. Do stuff. Be active. I
Yeah.
guess that's how we'll go out. All
See you in 2022.
right. What?
Because he's falling asleep for 4 years. He's gonna fall asleep for
Good.
4 years.
That's
Did you get
good.
it? All right. Bye, everybody.
Claim with a home run.
Wow.
Overstated, but just imitating a life that makes us feel